back to our video series on the transitions between OKR cycles this month. And as I said last week, I'm joined this week with my colleague Tim, where we're going to start with really what the beginning of the OKR transitions look like. So what check-ins need to take place. So Tim, do you want to just kick off and start with what we mean by check-ins?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Joe. So check-ins are an opportunity for members of an OKR squad to come together to share progress on progress and confidence really on the likelihood that a particular key result is going to be achieved. So that's their progress on that period to date, but then also having a discussion around how likely they think they are to achieve that particular key result.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Tim. And throughout the quarter, it's important that these squads are having those check-ins because as well, it's an opportunity to look at blockers, what they need to do really to get back on track. And that's why the check-ins are so important. So when it comes to the beginning of that OKR transition between cycles, it's important that the different layers of OKR squads come together to kick it all off really. And what we mean by that is the different layers. So you've got your strategic OKRs, which are your annual OKRs, and then any OKRs that are working off a 3-month cycle. So it's important really that the 3-month OKR squads get together probably around 2 weeks prior to the end of the quarter. They have their final check-in of the cycle. And then after that, it means the strategic OKR squads, so those annual ones, can get together and look at how they can look at the most up-to-date data from the 3-month OKR squads and see how it's comparing against their own. So that's why it's important to have the different layers of OKR squads, and it needs to go in that order really as well.
Okay. We talked a little bit about the what. I guess, Joe, it'd be really good. Would you be able to give us just like 30 seconds on the why behind check-ins and just why they're so important?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the transition period, it's so important to start with this because it then allows the leadership team or those strategic OKR squads to understand what needs to be focused on in the next quarter, and they can then start to really understand what the priorities need to be so they can give the direction for the rest of the transition period really, because they understand where everything's performing. And even though it's not the end of the cycle, because people are updating their confidence scores, they can also take that data, and that's why it's so important.
Perfect. Great. I think that gives us everything for talking about check-ins this week. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Join us next week and we've mentioned a little bit about priorities. We'll actually look at how you can then start to align your OKRs into those priorities next week.
Thanks,
All
everyone.
right. Thanks. Bye.